Good afternoon, everybody. I decided to go ahead and film a video today. I wasn't actually planning to, but since I was making soap, I decided to go ahead and get a video done. I didn't really want to do a sit-down talk video because, like I've told you guys in the past, I just have the hardest time getting in front of cameras. So I decided to go ahead and do a voiceover like this, which would give somebody or one of you guys that like to watch soap making something to watch, and then maybe I can give some tips on some other things, so maybe a double purpose. I don't know. Anyway, what I was going to focus on today was fragrance oils and how they can discolor or cause seizing and ricing. And the one thing is, most of us that make soap, those of you that do not make soap or are new to this, may not realize that a lot of your floral fragrance oils will cause, most of the time, your soap batter to seize up, which means it'll get really hard, turn into like thick mud, almost like concrete immediately, so fast that sometimes you can't even get it into a mold. And other times it'll just move really fast where you have to work really fast, like sweating your butt off trying to get it into the mold. And I have literally done that, like scooped it so fast that I was sweating trying to get it into my mold because I didn't want to lose the soap, or have to hot process it or whatever. So anyway, what I was going to show you in this video, you'll be able to see here in just a little bit, is you can tell I've colored my oils with a little bit of pink mica. And the fragrance oil that I'm using today is Amazing Grace, and it is going to, right when I add it in, it will turn yellow. And the first time that happened to me, I thought, okay, well, I can deal with yellow, but it wasn't what I was going for. And it also starts to seize up just a little bit, which what I mean by that is it doesn't go to a full seize. It turns into almost like cottage cheese consistency, like there'll be little chunks in my batter. And so what I've realized after making this soap for years is it turns yellow and then it starts to get those chunks, but if I stick blend it, I can get most of those out and it turns into be fairly smooth. It's not like silky smooth soap batter, but it's fairly smooth. It's not anything where you have to work super fast or anything like that. And then after probably about 4 hours or so, that yellow that it turned does go back to the original color, that whatever you choose to use. And in my case, I used pink. So it actually does go from yellow to whatever color you want it to go. So it discolors initially, but then it doesn't stay that way. And that's not very common. You can see, actually I can't tell because I'm recording, but I think this is where it's turning yellow here. But anyway, most fragrance oils, when they discolor after saponification, and that discoloration gets worse and worse as time goes by. But that's not the case with this particular fragrance oil, which is kind of an anomaly. I don't think it happens that often, but because, like I said, typically vanillin and things like that are in fragrance will cause it to turn dark and get darker and darker with time. But this one is just weird because it turns like, and I know other ones do it as well. It's just, this is the only one that I have. Well, I have one more that I make that does this, but it's not that common. So basically, it's one of those situations where as a soap maker, you just have to give things time and practice, and either take notes so that you'll remember, or if you're the type of person that only makes things once and then you're done, that's fine. But if it's something that you want to continue to make, I just recommend putting a note on the bottle to remind yourself, or wherever you have your notes. I'm the world's worst about making notes, but usually I can make a mental note, and that does okay. But anyway, that was the main thing that I was going to discuss today, was just how fragrance oils discolor, and how they usually discolor after saponification, but every once in a while you'll get one that will discolor at the beginning like this. So you can see it looks straight up yellow. But after it is, 4 hours or so go by, and definitely by the time I take it out of the mold, and it will be back to that kind of pretty light cherry blossom pink color. And but it does scare you, when you're going for a certain look. Not that color matters that much, but it's an interesting fact that I can't remember the percentage, but I did hear something along the way that the color of something will determine whether someone will buy a product or not. It's so weird because I do believe that is absolutely true, because some people will look at a soap and pick it up to smell it just simply on the way it looks, and not, despite the name or anything else about it. Just the color swirls or the color combination will definitely attract a customer to a certain bar of soap. But the thing is, some of these things, it's like some of the best smelling fragrance oils will discolor, and that's the unfortunate thing, because I think the vanillin in a lot of soaps do give it that nice warm vanilla note that is appealing to a lot of people, or that musky or kind of a sexy type smell. It unfortunately discolors to dark brown, and then I have a lot of customers that don't want to buy a brown soap. And I try and explain to people that the color does not stain your washcloth. It doesn't stain your tub or your shower. You will get a little residue, from the soap sitting there, but it just rinses right away. It absolutely does not stain. But it's unfortunate. And there are, for those of you that are new to soap making, there are color stabilizers, or vanilla stabilizers, I guess they call them. I've never used one, but there are those out there, because everything that I've read, I've been doing this for like over 5 years, and everything that I have read about using those stabilizers is that they do work, but a lot of times it's not 100%. And a lot of, sometimes the color will eventually turn dark anyway, or at least a dark tan or whatever. So to me, it's just not worth it. It's just, that's a chemical, something that's not natural, that I will have to explain to customers what it is that I've added in there. And I prefer to keep my soap as simple as possible, using just food grade ingredients. Obviously the fragrance oils are not, and the essential oils are not, but other than that, I try to keep things as natural as possible, but still make them, smell nice and look nice too. And as we all know, that can sometimes be a challenge, because the more you read about stuff, there's all these other things that we as soap makers can add and do. But, simplicity is best a lot of times. So I haven't ever used one, but they are out there if it's something you're interested in. And there was one, and lemongrass essential oil will actually turn your soap yellow. And I've used lemongrass essential oil without any added mica or colorant or clay or anything like that, and it's been a light yellow color. But a lot of times I use like lemon peel powder or orange peel powder to my lemongrass soap to give it a little bit of a more intense yellowy or orange color or whatever. But right here on the soap, I'm adding some cornflower petals, and those are one thing that they're super expensive. Well, in my opinion anyway. I can't remember how much I paid for them, but I know I've been holding on to that bag and being stingy with it for a good year now, because I remember it being expensive. I want to say that little bag right there was like $50 or something. Anyway, they're expensive, but the cool thing about them is they do stay purple, or like a purpley blue color. It's really, really pretty. And but don't put them in your soap, because if you put them in your soap, then they will turn brown. But on top, they're beautiful. Like, they stay such a pretty blue color. And I'm adding cranberry seeds, which do stay that red color as long as they're on top of your soap. If you put them inside your soap, they do discolor, and they basically look like a poppy seed or whatever. So if you're going to use the cranberry seeds, just sparingly put them on top, and you don't have to like push them down, because the more they're in contact with your soap, the higher the chance they're going to discolor. But those make a pretty topping, and the cornflowers to me are one of the prettiest, and I'm showing you here, but the lighting is really, really bad. I don't even know, whatever. But anyway, you can just kind of see it's not pink at all, but it will be pink, so no fear. But anyway, I hope you guys have a great day, and this was just a little tidbit on fragrance oils and whatnot. And maybe next time I feel like getting in front of the camera, I will film another video and maybe give some more tips on some things that I've learned along this soaping journey. See you guys.